At T-Mobile, our critical mission is providing unparalleled 5G coverage for when connectivity is mission critical. Introducing T-Priority, America's best 5G network experience for first responders, even in times of congestion. More capacity, faster speeds, better coverage. T-Priority from T-Mobile, built for tomorrow's emergencies, ready today. Discover more at t-priority.com.
For qualifying organizations on eligible rate plans, coverage not available in some areas and may be impacted by emergencies.
This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
It's back. The Saturday brunch.
The Saturday jazz intro brings a different energy.
Yes, it does. It's a nice, calm, smooth energy. But regardless, welcome to No Credentials Required, the Saturday brunch edition, where you don't need to press pass to talk sports or grab a mimosa. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of your hosts. To my right is a man who looked pretty good after his haircut.
Dustin, thank you. Thank you. You're coming to my defense after I took so much shrapnel on the last Saturday episode of the show. So much so that D. Willie felt compelled to defend me and remove his hat as well.
Look, at least you got hair, okay?
Yes. That I am thankful to have the hair on the top because I, unlike you, cannot grow a awesome beard. It doesn't work. So I'm not being greedy. I have hair in the one spot, can't grow it here. So I'm happy with this.
As you should be.
Yeah, you gotta be thankful for what you got. Exactly.
All right, before we get into this episode, which is titled NFL Mock Draft, if you're not watching on watching live on our Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages, or not watching later on the Belly Up Sports YouTube page, if you're listening, I'm putting mock in air quotes because
yes, the Dr. Evil air quotes.
We're going to have a little fun this morning, but before we get into everything, just want to remind you to please go ahead and follow us on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, also on YouTube. Also, check out all of our podcasts and articles on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe to the podcast wherever you find podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to get notified. Hit that notification bell on Twitter. I still refuse to call it X. And on YouTube. That way you know about show announcements. That way you know when videos go up, when our shorts go up, because I'm producing shorts again. Put out a couple of shorts this past week. And just hit those notification bells. Also subscribe. If you're watching on the replay on Belly Up Sports and Belly Up Sports YouTube, hit that notification bell too, because that way you know when new videos, not just for No Credentials Required, go up, but also for all of our other podcasts, like the High Low Sports Podcast, Morgan Man Sports Podcast, the Haymaker, which is about combat sports like UFC and boxing. Got a lot of great podcasts that are also video podcasts on the YouTube side on Belly Up Sports. So please check us out there. And also, if you're on the podcast side, rate and review. A 5-star rating would be very helpful. Leave a review where you can leave a review. If you're on Spotify, you can leave a comment. You can leave a comment on episodes now. And I know we're a live show on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. Also on Tuesdays, most Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. But I know for me, this a pretty decent week this week, but still, this sound when it's time, it makes me feel so much better.
I think it's chime time.
It certainly is. As I take a sip of my coffee while the chimes are going, makes the coffee taste better.
It does. You got to pick your spots, quick spots on a live show.
Yes, indeed. Indeed, we do. All right, so we're going to start off before we go into our mock draft, or mock, in air quotes, draft. It's time for a Saturday tradition here on No Credentials Required to bring it back after a couple weeks. It's time for Hot Food Takes. Burger's still suspect, man.
Yes. The burger will continue to mystify us until the end of time.
It will. Until I come up with a new element or new something for Hot Food Takes. A new element. That'll be the element.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the burger has become an integral part of the segment because it mystifies not only us, but guests as well.
It's true. And people in the comments are like, what?
Yeah.
Crazy. But I decided, I thought, just as I was sitting down, getting my things together, getting my accoutrements ready. Yes, it's a big word, accoutrements. Ready for today's show. Thought to myself, all right, we didn't really discuss what we're going to do for Hot Food Takes this week. So I said, you know what? All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do, if you were to be stuck with one chicken-related item, with one chicken item, like you had to eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the rest of your life, would you eat fried chicken? Would you eat chicken sandwiches? Would you eat, and we're going to put this in the same category because they're kind of in the same category, wings and nuggets, because let's just face it, boneless wings, they're just saucy nuggets.
They are, yes.
Or chicken tenders. And I kind of came up with it off the cuff, and Dustin's brain just basically rebooted itself. But I do want to get your opinion on these four chicken items. You have to eat only one for the rest of your life. Is it going to be? And I'll repeat them just for our audience to hear. And we want to hear your take in the comments. Which one for you would it be? Would it be fried chicken, which means breast, thighs, wings? Chicken sandwiches, and you can pick whatever chicken sandwich you want. You can get Chick-fil-A, you can get McDonald's, you can make your own. Don't matter. It has to be a chicken sandwich. Wings and nuggets, because again, same category. We define them in the same category. Or chicken tenders. And I'm going to hand it over to my esteemed co-host. What's your opinion?
All right. Well, this is a tough one. But if I have to throw every other chicken dish into the chicken incinerator to save one, it is going to be number one with a bullet for me. And some of these casualties I'm not thrilled about. Fried chicken, I'm going to miss you dearly. I'm going to miss you terribly. Chicken sandwiches, same deal. I made some delicious chicken sandwiches for last year's Oscars, if I do say so myself. I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss Popeyes. I like Popeyes chicken sandwich. It's one of the best for me. I haven't tried Dave's hot chicken yet, Ryan. Have you? We might have to do that. I don't know.
I've heard of it, but I've never had it.
Yeah, I haven't tried it yet, but I'd like to. But the chicken sandwich goes by the wayside. Chicken tenders. This one almost made it, but this also goes by the wayside for me. Number one that I am keeping, that I am saving. I've always loved them my entire life. I just had some the other night because it had been too long. Chicken wings. Chicken wings / chicken nuggets are staying because this gives me, thank you for putting them in the same category because rightly they are very, very similar. But this gives me two options. Not only can I have wings from a bevy of chicken wing places, or I can make my own. So I can get wings from Wingstop, Buffalo Wild Wings, local pizza joints, wherever. I believe 20 North has the best wings in our area. If you live close to us, you know where it is. But chicken nuggets, confession time, Ryan. I have a soft spot for McDonald's chicken nuggets, specifically with the hot mustard dipping sauce. So I get to keep both of those wonderful things. And I don't think I once polished off a 40-piece McNugget, no problem. So I don't think I'm going to get sick of them. And I could alternate with the chicken wings in different flavors. And as I've gotten older, dry rubs, that's what I did the other night. I made a little dry rub, a lot of controversial thoughts on Dano's, but I put the Dano's spicy on there along with the Dano's Chipotle. I kind of mixed it up. And it came out all right. It came out all right. I oven baked them. I'm trying not to fry, but wings and chicken nuggets, that's my pick. How about you?
Yeah, this is kind of a tough one for me too, because I do enjoy all four varieties of chicken, or that we varieties of chicken that we had that I had laid out there. I do love me some fried chicken every once in a while. But I don't eat it enough, and it can get a little messy. It also has a lot of bones.
Yeah.
Chicken sandwiches, I enjoy. I also enjoy wraps too. So when we had wings over Saratoga, rest in peace. It's now West Ave. It is now West Ave Chicken. They made a broiled chicken wrap, and it was delicious. It was broiled nice and tender, and it kept the juiciness too. So I'm trying to figure out the secret and how they did it. Wings and nuggets, that's a close number 2 for me. It's a close number 2 because I do like. There's nothing like going to a sports bar, sit in front of at the bar in front of a television, have a nice cold beer and some wings.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, there's a lot of good wing places in this area. I know there's a Wingstop coming to Queensbury.
Yeah, well, that's why I was surprised, because I'm like, why do we get all these Wingstop commercials? I was over during the playoffs. I was over at my buddy Derek's house, and I'm watching the game, and I'm like, why do we get all these Wingstop commercials? And we looked it up, and apparently there's one in our area already that I did not know about, and then there's one that's coming to Queensbury. So I was like, well, that explains it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited to try that. I was excited to have Chick-fil-A come up here too, because I'm a big fan of Chick-fil-A. Although it's funny, when I took my niece down in New Jersey, she said, "Yeah, I think having a Chick-fil-A in the area, but it's not as special as it used to be." Because we used to not have it in the area. We had to go outside the area. And my first experience at Chick-fil-A was in Chicopee, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I could see that 100%. Sometimes when you finally get something, the ability to regularly have it kind of takes the bloom off the rose, if that makes sense. You know, it loses its mystique. It's a lot why I agree with your article on Belly Up Sports about the 4 Nations Face-Off.
Thank you.
Yeah,
go check it out. But for me, for if I'm going to eat one item for the rest of my life, it's going to be chicken tenders. Chicken related items. It's going to be chicken tenders. And I just got back into chicken tenders kind of on a whim. Like, I love me some boneless wings / saucy nuggets. Don't get me wrong. But there's something special about making, and the thing about boneless tenders, the chicken tenders, you can make your own. Like, you can specialize them. You can put the dry, like you mentioned, Dustin. You can do dry rub. You can do buffalo style. You can sauce them up with some barbecue sauce. No ketchup. Just clarify. You're not. That's ketchup and chicken are reserved for children. But for me, I love making chicken tenders in my air fryer, and I also like baking them. You make your own chicken tenders. You don't have to go. And I will say this though, the one thing I miss about Recovery Grill leaving Malta, their chicken tenders are outstanding because they're handmade. They're so good.
Yeah, they were unbelievable. And specifically, you were lucky because the Malta location was always good, right? And also the small location that used to be near me in Colony in Hannaford Plaza, that one was always good. There's a Y in there now. But recovery room, and I'm sorry if anybody's listening or watching who is affiliated with recovery room or works there, but they had some locations that are hit or miss. The Guilderland location was always bad. And believe me, our buddy Scott and I tried it a ton because we used to bowl close to there, and we would always go back because we remember the Malta or the one on Wolf Road that used to be by me. It was always delicious. But the Guilderland location, they couldn't get it right.
Yeah, but so they have several locations. They have Amsterdam, Troy, which is the one when my mom was in the hospital and she would be at Samaritan. I go visit her. I go right there afterwards. It's in the I think it's the Hilton Garden Inn on Hoosick Street.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
They're always good for a quick meal after going to see my mom. Rensselaer, Albany, which is the one, I believe that was the one by Albany Medical Center.
Yes.
New Scotland.
Yeah.
And in Verona, which is somewhere.
Oh yeah, Verona. I mean, that's
Verona, which is out near Syracuse, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so, because I think, if memory serves, I think Tom Segura is performing out in Verona, and I think I'm going. I can't remember.
And there was a Recovery Sports Grill location in Norfolk, but is now known as the Monarch Recovery Sports Grill. The Monarch, because it's near Old Dominion University.
Okay,
home of the Monarchs.
That makes sense.
Or as Joe Biden on the Fin for the Win, President's Place calls them, the Crown Team.
Oh man!
But yes, for me, chicken tenders is the only thing. If I had to eat one chicken related item for the rest of my life, it's chicken tenders. But I'm going to make them for myself and occasionally get them from Recovery Grill because they're that good.
Yeah, no, that's a good pick. Chicken tenders, can't go wrong with them. Although I remember a couple of seasons ago, I was terrified that I was going to undercook the ones that I made for you guys during the playoffs.
20 minutes. That's all it takes. 20 minutes.
I was frying them. So
okay, you were frying them. You weren't baking them.
I wasn't baking them. I did bake the wings last night, trying to be a little more health conscious. Got to do something.
Understood. All right, before we go to our mock draft, we got some comments in the comment section from our friend of the show, Sick Diggy from Norway, checking in from Scandinavia, saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. He also says, I don't know why, but for some reason, Dustin with his hair and Ryan with his beard reminds me of the two-headed monster from Sesame Street.
All right, Ryan, we have to do it. You ready? Yep.
And that has been this edition of Hot Food Takes. Oh, goodness. All right. So this is time. So we've never done this before on No Credentials Required. We're not really deep into the draft. We don't get too deep. We concentrate more on stuff going on right now. So some business to take care of here. During our break, I put a poll out on Twitter on our No Credentials Required YouTube, on our No Credentials Required Twitter page. And I decided to ask the audience, all right, so we're taking a break, but we've got the offseason coming up for the NFL. We want to hear from you as to what you want to see more from us from all the way up until training camp start in August. So the poll was like this. So, and we had four choices. You had more interviews, which means we just grab a random sports personality and had them on the show. Bring back some guests like Levac and Gaz. They're always welcome on the show. I gotta pay them their 69-cent talent fee for when they come on the show.
I'm willing to pay half of that.
So we'll try to bring in more guests as well and try to interview them. I talked to Dustin last week and I said I got some people in mind for future shows, for whether it be the Saturday morning brunch edition or the OG show on Tuesdays. So that was one of the choices, more interviews. a second choice was news other than the NFL. So we'll cover baseball, we'll cover hockey, maybe do a little March Madness. We don't know. We don't really follow it. Although I was on Corner Booth the other night with Jared on the pregame. Corner Booth pregame. They talked some college basketball, and I know nothing, but
Yeah.
I've heard a couple teams mention and how they could possibly win the national title, and friend of their guest broke it down. So he said, yeah, absolutely, either of these teams could win the title. The third option was more movie reviews, because we bring back No Ticket Required in the summer. That is now a summer staple, which was kind of initially it was impromptu, and now it's a summer staple. So we'll keep it that way until we stop, or more YouTube content. So the winner with 37.5% was more movie reviews. So this summer, last year we did 2 summers before we did 7. We did, I think, 6 or 7 movies. I can't remember.
I think so. Yeah.
So we did 6 or 7 movies. Last year we did 8 movies. Originally we had 7 planned, but I said we need to watch Mr. Baseball, because for some reason I was just really excited about Japanese baseball from watching a YouTube channel all about the Japanese baseball league. And so we decided. So Dustin, if we could, 10 movies.
Okay, yeah.
10 movies this summer.
Nice round number. And maybe too, I don't want to predict the future, but we've talked about it in the past. We might have an occasional documentary review when it fits as well, or we may have a holiday movie pick, depending on what comes out around the holidays,
Absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of No Credentials Required staples, gotta bring back Annabelle.
Oh yes, of course.
Gotta bring her back. I miss her. Miss Annabelle. So this summer we're gonna bring back No Ticket Required, but instead of 8 movies, we're gonna review 10, and we're gonna start around the mid-June, because that's when. Actually, hang on. Let me do the math. I'm trying to do the math in my head, because it's already March 1st.
Yeah, you know what? Should we? And we could talk about this, off air. But what about the unofficial start of summer, Memorial Day? What if we started around that time to give us a little bit of a buffer here?
Yeah, that sounds. It sounds good. Because so on Tuesdays, starting in around Memorial Day weekend, so it'll be about May 27th. So May 27th will be the first installment of No Ticket Required. So we March 27th, June 3rd, June 10th, June 17th, 24th. That's 5 right there. Then you got July 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 20th. Yeah, perfect. That line's perfect, because we usually take a summer break.
Yeah,
for a couple weeks around August anyway. So it'll end on July 29th. So May 27th. So here we go. May 27th will be the first installment of the 2025 series for No Ticket Required. It'll be every Tuesday through July 29th. And then after August 1st, we'll take our break, our summer break for a couple weeks, and we'll come back and we'll start all over again with NFL coverage, because NFL is going to rule this. It's going to rule this show from about August through February.
Yeah.
So if you don't, I understand more people want baseball coverage. They want hockey coverage. We're going to have that. We're going to focus on the Yankees, maybe a little bit on the Mets, because they're a New York team too. But because we're Yankees fans, our primary focus for baseball will be exclusively the New York. Will pretty much be exclusively the New York Yankees. George Jerry, take it away.
New York Yankees?
The New York Yankees!
Ruth, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle, Costanza?
I've always wondered if there actually was a job called assistant traveling secretary.
Yeah, I don't know.
I doubt there is, but it might have been just a Seinfeld. Might have been just a Seinfeld thing. But
we know what happened when George hired a secretary from that run of episodes that season. And I always love, there's a pivotal scene, which I won't get into here, but the way she says his name, Mr. Costanza, that always cracked me up.
Yep.
Oh,
So
man.
that will be the movie reviews. We will definitely bring them back. The summer edition, summer staple for no credentials required. 10 weeks starting March May 27th, because today's March 1st. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is wild. We got sick in the comments saying the Martians were funny, but the honkers were ridiculous. This is going back to Sesame Street, folks.
Yeah. And I realized after we did it, I was like, oh yeah, those were the Martians. But it still
okay.
worked. You know,
Still
the two-headed monster. I think they just laughed a lot. I can't remember.
It also says I doubt you can talk about the MLS or international rugby. I've been watching Six Nations the last couple of weeks. So I mean, I'm a former rugger myself.
All right. I mean, Ryan's your guy for that. When it comes to MLS, all I'm going to tell you is F the Timbers, okay?
My Red Bulls were one game away from finally breaking that drought. They've never won an MLS title. They came this close last year, but they had to play the Los Angeles Galaxy, and of course, the MLS loves them some Los Angeles Galaxy.
Yes, they do.
I roll. One last thing was just Jason Alexander had a way with the character of George Costanza. Yeah, he embodied it for sure.
Yeah,
sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking care of hot food takes. We're taking care of we're taking care of business for the show. We're going to preview for the next couple months before we ramp up the NFL season in 2025. And those of you who are NFL guys and girls, we'll cover free agency and we'll do recaps for our respective teams for the draft. So we'll make sure we get that, and we got that in the chamber. But in the meantime, it's our first annual NFL mock draft. And how we're going to do this, this is part one. So this is part one of our NFL mock draft. So we're only covering picks 1 through 18. Dustin will take the first 5. I'll take the next 5. And then we'll alternate from 11 to 18. So without further ado, Dustin, go ahead and take it away.
All right. Well, the Tennessee Titans, they're a franchise that's in a little bit of a turmoil right now. Will Levis, is he the answer at quarterback? No one knows. But the Tennessee Titans, they need a stabilizing presence. Fans are mad that they don't have Derrick Henry anymore. They're not happy with the state of the team. People weren't showing up. A Tennessee legend is the answer, my friends. With the first overall pick in our mock draft, the Tennessee Titans are selecting a legend, Jerry the King Lawler. He will be playing safety or middle linebacker. The Titans have needs at safety, but Jerry's got the acumen to be the quarterback of that defense, an anchor point on that defense, middle linebacker. He's a great athlete, and he will bring fans back into the stands for the Tennessee Titans. Jerry the King Lawler. That's the number 1 pick.
Gonna pile drive his way to that number 1 spot.
Yeah. All right. At pick number 2, everything old is new again sometimes, my friends. The Cleveland Browns are still having problems at quarterback. They have been well documented. Clearly, Deshaun Watson is not the answer. And I've been told that Cleveland brass is still very enamored with an arm from their past. They will be bringing it back. They did it in 99. They're going to do it again. They're taking him off the couch. That's right. Former Kentucky Wildcat Tim Couch. They're doing it again. They're running it back. They think that he's learned a few things, and he's still got that rocket arm. Cleveland's gonna tether their hopes to Tim Couch. A blast from the past. Moving on now to pick number 3, and I hope that Uncle Al is watching, because I've got a killer pick for his New York Giants. The offensive line woes of the Giants have been well documented. I think it's one of the reasons that Matthew Stafford decided to stay with the Rams, because the Giants were interested, and Matthew Stafford probably looked at that line and said, I will get annihilated. The Giants need to bring in a stabilizing force on that offensive line. And so they're going to West Canaan High in Texas. and they're going to talk to Billy Bob. And they're going to bring him in with the third overall pick of this year's draft to stabilize that offensive line. He's going to be able to move bodies around in there, protect the quarterback, whoever they take, Billy Bob, and anchor on that offensive line. And he's got the personality that will thrive in the New York media market. You can hear the quotes now, Ryan. It was a 10. It was a 10. So he's got the mindset for New York. We're moving.
So I have to caveat to add to that. Just bring in Miss Davis as a personal trainer or a secretary. Miss Davis, will you go prom with me?
All right, we're moving on to pick number 4. Pick number 4. Now, I have heard from sources within the Patriots organization that Robert Kraft is very interested in bringing back the old Patriots way in an unprecedented move, that the likes of which they've never seen before. They are going to have new head coach Mike Vrabel walk to the podium and they announce that he is re-entering the NFL as a player coach. He will be playing at linebacker for the New England Patriots to teach these young kids the way of the defense and bring back the Patriot way. Mike Vrabel, in a Bill Russell type move that we haven't seen since then, will be a player/coach for the New England Patriots. Going to be very interesting to see how they call and get the plays in while Vrabel's out there playing linebacker, but they're going to figure it out. And for my last pick for a little while, the Jacksonville Jaguars, there was talk that they were going to get rid of Trevor Lawrence for draft capital to build. There's been some smoke to that rumor. Their struggles at QB have been well documented. And I hate to say it, but Liam Cohen needs a certain level of mind to run that offense that he's going to have down there in. Do you have it ready, Ryan?
I got it. Duval.
So he's going to need a superior intellect to run that offense and get it going. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're going with a QB pick that just blew everybody away. When they saw his tapes, they had to get a Betamax machine to play the footage. And they had someone that looked like this person and was nicknamed after this person on their team previously in Gardner Minshew. But they're not going to make that mistake again. This time they're going with the real deal, Uncle Rico. They're taking Uncle Rico at QB because they were blown away by his footage. And if you rewatch the footage, Ryan, Patrick Mahomes is taking some tricks from old Uncle Rico with that sidearm throw.
It's true.
So the Jaguars, Uncle Rico is at QB at pick number 5. And with that, I turn it over to you.
Oh, before we get to me, just got some comments in the comment section. Sick to saying, just make sure you keep the king. Make sure the king keeps his eyes off the Titans cheerleaders. We know the king loves the puppies.
He does.
God's checking in, watching us on his God's little media page, saying Ryan should fight Mel Kiper in a cage at WrestleMania.
Oh man. My money's on Ryan for that one. Mel's hair isn't going to look the same after it.
I can't believe he said Shadur Sanders could go to the Jets. Ugh. Some people just need to retire. Some people just need to retire.
Oh man,
been doing this for too long. And sixth thing, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Brock Lesnar as part of his deal with AEW.
Oh man, I didn't realize Brock was signing with AEW, huh?
No idea. I mean, I had to suspect with all the stuff going on with the trial and that awfulness.
Yeah,
his Mr. McMahon trial, and Brock Lesnar's allegedly involved in this. Was allegedly involved in this whole thing that they were going to. I suspect they were going to try to bring him back for Royal Rumble, but with all everything that's going on, they said, you know what, you should.
Yeah,
stay in Saskatchewan, stay in Minnesota. You know. I guess his daughter, one of his daughters, is a wrestler.
Oh, I did not know that.
Like a Greco-Roman wrestler or freestyle wrestler. High school, I think.
Oh, okay, yep.
Because one of his daughters is a volleyball player too. So he and Sable had some kids. All right, with pick number 6 in the NFL draft. So now the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders. And this guy has, similar to Kurt Warner, has a very inspirational story. He's had some trouble catching the ball, but when Jimmy McGinty put that stickum on his hands, he turned into a different receiver. Ladies and gentlemen, with the 6th pick in the NFL mock draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Clifford Franklin from the Washington Sentinels. Also, rest in peace, Gene Hackman, one of the greats.
Yeah, wow.
All right, at number 7, for my New York Jets. And they've got pretty much all the tools they need. They got all the tools they need to get back to the playoffs. They just can't seem to get over the hump for some reason. But they need a game-breaking linebacker. They need a game-breaking linebacker, a guy who can clog up the middle, who can get the sack when they need to, a big tackle when they need to. So with the 7th pick overall in the NFL mock draft, the New York Jets select from Eastern State University, Alvin Mack. And I know there's some concern about him with his broken leg. I understand that, but maybe have him sit out a season, learn under the learning tree of CJ Mosley and Jamie Sherwood. Hopefully he's still around with the Jets when it comes to free agency. He's still with the team. But give him a year to heal. Let him do some drills. Let him do some other things. But Alvin Mack will be a stud for the New York Jets for years to come in this draft. He just needs to take a year off to let his leg heal. But I'm confident he'll be the future of that defense for the New York Jets. And Aaron Glenn looking for a defensive guy. That's your guy. At number 8, the Carolina Panthers. They got some tools they showed some growth last year. Bryce Young showed some growth, especially in that last game against New Orleans Atlanta in Week 18, which was a banger of a game, and I enjoyed that game a lot. But he needs some help. He needs a safety valve. He's got some good running backs. He's got Chuba Hubbard, nice little running back there. He's got a decent receiver, but I think he needs more of a safety. He needs a safety valve. He needs a safety valve. So at number 8, the Carolina Panthers select Brian Murphy, Gallaudet University. Yes, he's deaf, but he's a hell of a ball catcher.
He is very much so.
That's right. And he might date one of the cheerleaders. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah, he is a charming man.
He's a charming guy. Just don't let him near Jim Halpert. Number 9, the New Orleans Saints. Now, this team is establishing an identity. They're establishing an identity with Kellen Moore as their new head coach. Alvin Kamara, he's longtime Saint. Saints great. He's gonna be inducted into. He'll be a Hall of Famer someday, but he'll also be in the ring. I don't know what they do for the Saints. So they retire numbers. So they do Ring of Honor. I don't know what they do for that. But eventually, Alvin Kamara is going to have to play second fiddle, and Kellen Moore loves to run the ball. We saw that in Philadelphia. Loves to run the ball. He had a generational running back, Saquon Barkley, in the backfield. But I think this kid has the potential to be a stud in the NFL. Had a great freshman season. Been built on that ever since. So with the number 9 pick in the mock draft, the New Orleans Saints select Darnell Jefferson, Eastern State University.
A lot of Eastern State. Eastern State is big in this draft now.
Eastern State's got some studs, man. I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
Finally, go ahead.
I've heard that there's alleged substance abuse problems with a couple people on that team, but you can work around that.
There also was that scandal with the tutor. So,
Yes.
but I mean, that kind of went to the wayside. Coach Winters covered that, kind of made sure that went away. I believe they're getting married this summer. So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, any guy who would love to have a tutor who looks like Halle Berry, yeah, you got to put a ring on that.
Yeah.
And with the 10th pick in the mock draft, Chicago Bears need some help protecting Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams can be a solid quarterback, but he's on his second head coach already. With Matt Eberflus being shown the door after last season. He's got a new head coach with Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson did some great work in Detroit. But Caleb Williams was also, I believe he was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL this season.
Yeah.
Held the ball too long, got happy feet, just really couldn't make his way into showing with the people what he did at USC.
Yeah, apparently buying his offensive linemen that necklace that looked like a different kind of sack didn't really help.
It did not. So with that being said, the Chicago Bears need some offensive line help, and they're going to select from the Miami Sharks, Patrick Madman Kelly. He's got a little bit of a temper on him, but he can protect the quarterback. He looks very similar to Latimer from Eastern State University, but from what I understand, they were identical twins, separated from birth. One went one way, play linebacker. One went the other way, is an offensive lineman. So, Madman Kelly, welcome to the Chicago Bears. Before we get to picks 11 to 18, Sickdigi says the Detroit Lions have selected Dennis Rodman as defensive coordinator. He also says, breaking news, the Detroit Lions have traded Dennis Rodman to Chicago Bears for a second-round pick. And this just in, the Detroit Lions pick Rick and Scott Steiner.
Oh, the Reichsteiner brothers, or Rex Schneider. Rex Schneider, whatever their real last name was. Yeah, Rex Schneider.
Steiner rise. All right, we're going to alternate picks from 11 to 18. So, Dustin, go ahead. Number 11, it's the San Francisco 49ers.
San Francisco 49ers, I believe you are right. And, much like the Patriots at pick 4, the San Francisco 49ers are kind of looking to recapture some of that old magic that they had. And they've had some problems recently with their wide receivers. One of them requesting a trade, the other one showing up, he was overweight and out of shape by his standards, and they're reportedly shopping him. I think he had a problem passing a physical, if I remember correctly. They need to fill the void at wide receiver. And they're going to call up one of their old legends to do it. Jerry Rice probably could still get out there and run a route. They are going to, I mean, the DeBartolo family always loved him. They're bringing him back. They're bringing him out of retirement. They saw his quick feet on Dancing with the Stars, and they said, Jerry still got it. We're bringing him back. Jerry Rice is the pick.
All right. So number 12, the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, man. I'm excited to see who Jerry picks at this one.
They've got some interesting decisions to make in the offseason. They overpaid Dak Prescott. They overpaid CeeDee Lamb, which means that one of their other stars from that 2021 draft, being Micah Parsons, it's kind of being left in the breeze, and there's some rumblings that they're going to trade him. But that leaves a huge hole at edge in the and their defense. And they need an edge rusher. They need somebody who can sack the quarterback, get to the quarterback, get the guy turnover, get their team a turnover. And again, another inspirational story. Played some ball for the Washington Sentinels during the strike. So from the Washington Police Department, the Dallas Cowboys select Danny Bateman, linebacker.
Oh, man. A unusually smart pick for one Jerry Jones. That's right, Jerry. I said it. Oh, man. Filling a team need. That's not usually something he does. Okay.
Nope.
I believe the Miami Dolphins are up next.
Miami Dolphins are on the clock, number 13.
All right. Well, the Miami Dolphins, they have a lot of needs at a lot of places, and they need someone who can help them win games in cold weather. And I don't know if their latest draft pick is the answer. And I was kind of shocked to hear this, but there are reports coming out of Miami, and they have been verified. The Miami Dolphins are going off the board, and he's not even a traditional athlete, but I'm told that they liked his acumen. They also liked his passion, his ability to problem solve, come up with things on a fly. And they saw his dance moves in a tutu. And they also have experience with this particular person because they worked with him on a very important case. I'm talking about Ace Ventura, pet detective. The Miami Dolphins are drafting him to play for the team that he exposed kicker Ray Finkel, cracked that caper, and also saved the Dolphin. And I'm told that the Miami Dolphins feel a kinship with Ace Ventura, and they think that he will be the answer. He will come up with a method to help them win in cold weather games, sub-zero temperatures. They think Ace Ventura has got the brain to do it. And they also saw they might bring him in at kicker. He's versatile. They saw him kick that UPS package down the hallway and say World Cup 94. Ace Ventura is a problem solver, and I'm told that's what they liked. So there's the pick for the Miami Dolphins, Ace Ventura, pet detective.
All right. The Indianapolis Colts are on the clock. And Indianapolis is a weird team. They're a weird team because I can't quite get a hold on them. They've got some quarterback issues. All right. They can't seem to keep a quarterback healthy. With Anthony Richardson, he's had his share of struggles. Joe Flacco, I don't know if he's going to be playing again. I don't know if he's announced his retirement. They need some quarterback depth. And I looked at the big board, and I'm saying to myself, there's a guy here who can light this team up, not only with his personality, but also with his play in the field, inspirational play. So with the 14th overall pick in the NFL mock draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Mox, the Varsity Blues.
All right. He does want that life, right?
And he still gets to wear he still gets to wear blue. He doesn't really change colors.
Yeah. Also, I'm hearing that maybe Ali Larder is gonna. I can't remember her name from the movie. That maybe she's gonna be joining him in Indy.
Julie Harbor.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. She might be joining him, and she'll bring the whipped cream, if you know what I mean.
Miss Davis? No, she played Darcy. I'm sorry. Amy Smart played Julie Harbor.
Okay.
Ali Larder played Darcy. My bad.
Yep.
No. Darcy tried to seduce him. It didn't work.
She did. And Mox is a loyal guy. That's part of the reason why Indy liked him, I'm told.
Yep. He's a good guy. All right. Number 15, the Atlanta Falcons.
Number 15, the Atlanta Falcons are going to do something that they've done before. They're going to, this is a theme to the draft, it seems. It's emerging as a theme in this draft. Very, very strange, but I like it. And the Atlanta Falcons have dealt with a two-sport athlete before in one Deion Sanders. So they're used to this. And they've also, the GM of the Atlanta Falcons has shown that he is willing to go out there and make what many would consider unconventional picks. See drafting Michael Penix with the 8th overall pick last year, but that worked out for them because Kirk Cousins, that was tough. So I'm told that the Atlanta Falcons have reached out to a team that plays in their city. They reached out to the Atlanta Hawks and they said, "Hey, we're very interested in Trae Young. We've seen him on the basketball court. We know he can do a lot of things. We've got a lot of needs to fill on this team, be it tight end or at another position, because Kyle Pitts, they're not using Kyle Pitts. So maybe they move on from him. Maybe, but I've been told that one of the Falcons' most glaring needs is at cornerback. And I've been told that Trae Young, part of the reason they're drafting him and in talks with the Atlanta Hawks to work out how it's going to go during the season, they think he can play well at cornerback. He can pick off some passes. He's got sure hands, and they really like his athleticism and versatility again. So the Falcons GM, in another stunner, via the Atlanta Hawks, selects Trae Young.
Okay, interesting pick. All right, number 16. We got 3 picks left, Dustin. Here we go. Number 16, the Arizona Cardinals. What's to say about them? They're explosive on offense. Defense is a little suspect at times, and they finished 8-9 this year, which was kind of surprising. But they need a defensive a stud to bring them to the top. And I know this is an old trope for me, but they got a lot of studs out there. He used his senior year to shoot up the draft board. Although there's some controversy with some behaviors off the field, involving a booster's daughter, involving some alleged steroid use, performance enhancement steroids. But the Arizona Cardinals, they need somebody to inspire their team with a big tackle. The Arizona Cardinals from Eastern State University. There it is. There's that school.
There it is again. They are crushing this draft.
They select middle linebacker Steve Latimer.
Now, Ryan, I understand that, like you said, there was the controversy with the booster's daughter, a couple other things, but all that has been swept aside because of Latimer's ability and because, as friend of the show, Wise El Jefe said, can't have him locked up. He's important to the defense.
He's important to the defense. And we must acknowledge our tribal chief. Even though he's not watching, we must acknowledge him. Where is it? There it is.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Here's your ones to the sky.
Yes.
For our tribal chief. This hurts because I did shoulders yesterday.
Oh, no.
A little sore today. That's okay, though. It's a good sore. It's a good sore. But yes. Number 17, the Cincinnati Bengals. They are next. They are now on the clock.
All right. At 17, there's a familiar theme, okay? The Cincinnati Bengals, it's tough because owner Mike Brown, notoriously, he doesn't want to pay people. And they got a lot of people that they need to pay this offseason. And Joe Burrow has been very vocal about those people that he would like to pay. But it doesn't change the fact that the Bengals offensive line has been a weak point for the Bengals the past few seasons. And Joe Burrow still needs that protection. And so I'm told that Mike Brown is aware of all the money that he's going to have to spend to keep his star quarterback happy. And as a result, he's looking for deals in other positions. And in a stunner, the Cincinnati Bengals have called yet another player to bring him out of retirement, but they have needs at guard. And so as a result, they're going to bring in a Hall of Famer, former Seahawk, former Viking, and former Titan, Steve Hutchinson, is going to come out and play right guard for the Cincinnati Bengals because Mike Brown is looking for a deal. Steve Hutchinson, I believe, is about 47 years old, but he can still block. So Mike Brown is hoping that he hasn't lost it. He needs to save money because he's got a lot of stars to pay to keep. Steve Hutchinson.
Which is very surprising because he had Jamal Jackson, Andre Jackson, the Washington for the bodyguard who are bouncers. Again, inspirational story with the Washington Sentinels. They were available. Fumiko was available.
Yes.
From Sumo Wrestling Academy in Japan. I'm very shocked that you didn't select that. They were left off the board.
We might see them. I'm getting word that we might see them later picks in this draft because there were some concerns about their level of fitness. So they've dropped a little bit on the draft board.
Okay.
Also, I've been told that there's a certain kicker. They're worried about how much he smokes and also if he is able to come back off a horrific leg injury. So
from what I understand, he's being projected as a day 2 or day 3 pick. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, our final pick of this round of the mock draft is the pick number 18 for Dustin's Seattle Seahawks. And last year the Seahawks just kind of came out of nowhere. I was very surprised. I thought this was going to be a rebuild year, but defense, they picked up their game. The offense, it's some struggles here and there, but they still put it together. Geno Smith I understand he's going to be signing an extension. He won't be a cap casualty. He might actually sign an extension. But that being said, Seattle Seahawks need some scrappiness on offense. They need some scrappiness, and especially on the left side of the the right side of the ball. So after his very impressive performance in the Four Nations face-off, and also in the Stanley Cup final all of last year with the Florida Panthers. But this is my selection for number 18 for the Seattle Seahawks. He is from the London Knights, right wing, Matthew Tkachuk.
All right, I endorse this pick as a Seahawks fan. Very happy with it.
Yes. So let's pick those are picks 1 through 18. Picks 19 through 32 will be revealed on Tuesday night. We'll continue our NFL mock draft. But before we do that, before we go to commercial break, we got a couple of comments in the comment section. Sick Diggy also joining the fun. It says the Dallas Cowboys select Emmitt Smith. He's won 3 Super Bowls with the franchise, as well as one Dancing with the Stars. Be it on the AstroTurf or the dance floor, he'll lead the team to victory. Also, he says he likes your pick for the Miami Dolphins. He also says Ace Ventura can fight. Remember what he did to the Eagles mascot?
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
The Atlanta Falcons select Alvin Mack out of Eastern State University. Alvin Mack was already selected, Sick. He was already selected by the Las Vegas Raiders. So I think it was the Las Vegas Raiders. I think I can go back and watch this again. We'll review it. It'll be on social media. And Sick saying the said kicker is said to be the said kicker is said to be quite wordy, Dustin. Wordy. What the hell is worry? I gotta watch it tonight now. I gotta watch Replacements tonight.
I know.
God bless Gene Hackman.
It's such a good one. It's such a good one.
Either that or the episode of South Park where Christopher Reeve is well, I won't get into it. It's kind of gross, but he calls Gene Hackman Gene Hackman. He totally mispronounces it. All right. We will be right back. We're gonna take a quick commercial break. It's our network mandated commercial break. When we come back, we got to reveal our favorite athletes to ever wear the number 15. So please stand by. Stay tuned for more No Credentials Required. This episode of No Credentials Required is brought to you by Invader Coffee. For the coffee lover who wants good, quality coffee with no bullshit and no filler, Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company proudly delivering only the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. They aim to only serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms all over the world. They keep things simple. The best coffee at an affordable price in order to provide you with the value you deserve for your morning boost. 100% fair trade, 100% organic coffee beans, 100% air-roasted, 100% money-back guarantee. Visit invadercoffee.com, enter promo code BELLYUP at checkout, and receive 15% off your order. That's right, folks. That's what we're drinking in our mugs this morning. It's Invader Coffee. It's delicious. I'm finishing up the last of the Chocolate Lust, which is the Valentine's Day blend. What are you drinking, Dustin?
I am still drinking the last little bit of one of the holiday blends, the Cookie Crumble. So I'm drinking that up, and I've also been drinking Donut Dealer.
Nice.
And I'm gonna get back into the pumpkin pecan a little bit because you were kind enough to give me a bag, and I forget, was it from the backstop challenge? I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was from the Mendoza backstop challenge. Yes.
Yeah.
We got to do a new challenge. We got to figure out a new challenge for this year. Because we've already had Battle of the Bryans. We had the Mendoza backstop challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We got to come up with a new baseball bet for this year.
Well, and also this is the rubber match, Ryan, because you
Yes.
won the Battle of the Bryans and I won the Mendoza backstop challenge. So this is the match. But either way, even Invader Coffee is one of those things that even when I have like 3 different varieties sitting in my cabinet, I was thinking, I'm like, I still got to try the Chocolate Lust blend. And there's still a few blends I haven't tried.
Actually, Chocolate Lust, speaking of Chocolate Lust, it's still available.
I might have to order it after the show.
What you can do and help the show is order through our affiliate link, which is found in the description on Facebook and and it'll also be on the YouTube page for Belly Up Sports when we go on Belly Up Sports later. So they got many other blends. They've actually brought in a rum coffee blend. Warhorse Bacon Bourbon is back.
Oh, okay. I've had that. That's a good one.
You get, I remember you giving that, give me a cup from one of our football excursions as well. But they've also got their regular blends, the Black Heart blend, which is the espresso blend. Bring in Case of Emergency, which is one of my favorites. Don't Cali My Texas. But here's one cool thing you can do, because this is a veteran-owned company. If you love your country, you love your veterans, you're going to support. You got to support this brand, okay? But not like those other commercial brands that like Carducks and Fleeing Fountain Coffee and Bolgers. Shout out Mark. Shout out Mark Bolger.
Yeah.
But one really cool thing you can do on Invader Coffee's website, you can actually buy a bag of coffee for a deployed military member, and we still have, we're still in, tense times when it comes to world politics and conflicts and whatnot. And we still have our good men and women serving our country. And cool thing you can do, I'm gonna do this in my next order. I'm gonna buy a bag of coffee for a deployed military member, because if there's some people who deserve a great cup of coffee, it's our military members.
Yeah. Yeah. And with some of the recent actions, I'll keep quiet on it, but it's nice to show our military members that people still care about them, and that's a nice gesture to do. So I will do that as well on my next order. I will do that also.
Yes, and you should too. So go to our affiliate link in the description. Save 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP. Get yourself a good cup of coffee, but also, again, support a military member abroad. Send them a great bag of coffee, air roasted, not all that acidity is taken out. Because the last thing you want in the battlefield when you're going over your plans is to drink crappy coffee. And this is not crappy coffee. This is outstanding coffee. Veteran owned. It's great stuff. But yeah, visit the link in the description and save yourself some money with 15% off your order with promo code BELLYUP. All right, we're going to visit the comment section one more time before we reveal our favorite athletes to wear the number 15. It's did I say Alvin Mack? He says, did I say Alvin Mack? I meant to say Billy Bob from Varsity Blues. Billy Bob was selected by the New York Giants.
Yes, the New York Giants to stabilize their offensive line, and he also has the personality for New York. Big personality, big dude.
And we love some big personalities in New York. 6 a.m. I'm drinking unsweetened almond milk at the moment. I'll be drinking some dark chocolate almond milk later. How do you milk an almond? And a new cred head joined the chat. I think he may have misunderstood what our mock draft meant, but he says my boy's getting janty. Maybe, but for our mock draft, I selected I believe it was Alvin Latimer. I gotta cheat. I should have written these down.
Yeah, I know that. I wrote some of my picks down, I gotta come up with some more picks and make sure that I don't pick a pick that you've already picked. The second round could get a little hairy, but
yeah, I'll go. Picks 19 through 32 is gonna be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I the Titans really surprised me with that number 1 pick with the Jerry the King Lawler, but I see their logic behind it.
Yeah. All right, and he says he also says Brandon Marshall was pretty good at number 15. Recognizing this is his mistake. Go He also thinks the Cowboys are going to get Ashton Janty. Well,
I mean,
we'll
it would
see.
make sense for them, but do you think in today's NFL, and this is coming from one of the biggest running back fans out there, as you've correctly pointed out, I love a good running back, Ryan. I'd love to see it, but do you think it's worth taking a running back that high anymore? I mean, Saquon was the last one.
Saquon and Ezekiel Elliott were selected pretty high. I mean,
that's right.
Ezekiel Elliott's Zeke Elliott's a precautionary tale.
Yeah.
But hopefully Saquon Barkley has enough sense not to go down that path that Zeke Elliott did. Oh, and Sick was referring to Brandon Marshall as number 15. Yeah. So, but yeah, let's talk about that. This is episode 15. God bless you. This is episode 15 of the 2025 year recording season, and we've been going our favorite athletes to where the number that corresponds with the episode. And this is a caveat. This is athletes we've watched play. It's not legendary athletes. They've got their own pantheon of their own. But we're talking about players, or we're talking about athletes we've seen play either live or on television and have been marveled by their feats. So, Dustin, I'm going to start with you. I see the wheels turning. I know you talked about this you gave kind of a preview about it on Tuesday's show about who you kind of pick at number 15, but I'm going to hand the floor over to you. Your favorite athlete for number 15.
Yeah. So as I've mentioned before, I wrestled with this one. I went back and forth pretty much right up until the show, but I've made my final decision. I thought about selecting Doug Baldwin because I really like Doug Baldwin, but if we get to episode 89, that's when I will talk about and spotlight Doug Baldwin because Doug Baldwin did wear 15 for his first, I believe, couple of seasons with the Seahawks, if I remember correctly. But the spotlight is not Doug Baldwin's today because the more I thought about it, there's another 15. And I'm realizing, Ryan, that as we go through this list, I used to follow the NBA a lot more. There are a lot of NBA players that are on this list for me, and there will continue to be a lot of NBA players that are on this list. I can think of a few more upcoming numbers off the top of my head, but 15, Vince Carter, his airness himself, Vince Sanity, Air Canada, a million nicknames. Vince Carter, Ryan, I think the more I started thinking about it, everybody, if you're of a certain generation, and Vince Carter hit the scene when I was in high school, and he was drafted in 1998, and I believe his career ended after the 2020 season. So what a run. He and Dirk Nowitzki were in the NBA side by side for a lot of years together, and they were the only players left from the 1998 draft, which I found amazing. Vince Sanity, now early in his career, he was known as a scoring machine and primarily a dunker. Everybody remembers that dunk contest where he stuck his elbow like all the way into the rim. Just a magician. And one of the reasons why the dunk contest used to be my favorite all-star event, bar none, was because people like Vince Carter showing up and showing out for the dunk contest and blowing people away. But the thing, and Vince Carter also played for both our teams, Ryan. He was kind of traded. I'm still surprised that he ended up on the Nets. Was it a trade or a signing? Because he was kind of at the peak of his powers when the Nets got him, especially.
I believe it was a trade, but I'll do the research.
Yeah, I think it was a trade as well. And I'm just surprised that the Raptors got rid of him at that point. But I think I'm trying to go back, and this is just in memory. I think Vince kind of wanted out of Toronto at that point. I can't remember. Maybe he wanted an extension. I can't remember what was surrounding it. But he was unbelievable for the Nets as well. But then later in his career, when he started to play for Memphis, he played for the Dallas Mavericks for 3 years. He played for the Atlanta Hawks. He kind of evolved his game a little bit, and he worked on his shooting, and he became like a better than you realize threat from the outside and also at the 3-point line, as some of his dunking ability started to lose him, and he started to lose some of that due to father time. So Vince Carter worked on his game a little bit and put in the time to kind of evolve it. And I think it speaks to his longevity in the league. And he is a better all-around basketball player than people realize. And one of those years in Dallas, I think it was the 2013-2014 season, he won Sixth Man of the Year. So Vince Carter really changed himself later in his career and showed that he could evolve and bring a new dimension to his game. I just really, the more I thought about it, Vince Carter, my favorite to wear 15.
Yeah. So here's the crazy journey of Vince Carter. His goes all the way back to 1993 because his pick, he was traded to the Golden State Warriors because that was the year that
was the Weber
that
year.
Was for the Weber for Hardaway trade for Penny Hardaway.
Man.
Traded by the Golden State Warriors as a future 1998 first round. This is how nuts the NBA is with first round picks. Like, you can trade first round picks like 8 years down the line. Like, it's like you pick somebody from kindergarten. So this pick was part of that trade. It was traded by the Golden State Warriors as a future first round pick in 1998 with Penny Hardaway, a 1996 first round draft pick, and a 2000 first round draft pick to the Orlando Magic for Chris Webber.
Wow.
Then that pick was traded by the Orlando Magic with Scott Skiles and a 1996 first round pick to the Washington Bullets, not the Wizards, the Bullets, for a 1996 second round draft pick and a 1998 first round draft pick. Then in 1994, that pick was traded with Tom Gugliotta, a 1996 first-round draft pick, and a 2000 first-round draft pick to the Golden State Warriors for Chris Webber. Then, he was actually drafted by the Golden State Warriors with the 5th pick in the 98 draft, then traded for his college teammate, Antoine Jameson, to the Toronto Raptors.
Man. What a start.
What a journey.
And that's before he even played a game.
That's before he even played a game. He was still in high school
when
they traded those picks. And then on December 17th, 2004, he was traded to the New Jersey Nets for, get this, Alonzo Mourning, Aaron Williams, Eric Williams, a 2005 and 2006 first-round pick.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
That's why. I mean, because I don't remember enough about the Raptors to see who those picks developed into, et cetera, et cetera. But that's
so it tells you right here on basketballreference.com.
Okay.
Their 2005 first round pick was Joey Graham, and their 2006 first round pick was Ronaldo Balkman.
All right. No shade to Balkman. Balkman had a career in the NBA for sure, but yeah, the first person, forgive me, I've never heard of them. But at the time, I could see making that trade because you got the picks, you got Alonzo Mourning, who he had the health problems and stuff later in his career, but he was still Alonzo. Zoe was good for a long time, but yeah, I don't know, but that I remember my old college roommate Dave Feldman. Shout out to you if you're still listening. Big New Jersey Nets fan. He was very happy when they acquired Vince Carter for sure.
And the Nets belong in New Jersey, so this was the career path of Joey Graham. So played with Toronto from 2006 to 2009. Then he played with Denver in 2010, and in 2011 he played his last season in the NBA with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Wow.
All right, so it's my turn for my favorite tour, number 15. And just like the last episode, I'm going off the board.
All right.
Going with another quarterback from West Virginia University. Number 15 on the roster, but number 1 in your hearts in 1991 for the New York Giants, Jeff Hostetler.
Oh man, I love me some Jeff Hostetler. Dude.
Everybody loves him some Jeff Hostetler. Come on. But think about this: if you're a New York Giants fan, like we follow New York sports on this podcast, and that year, 1990, was a crazy year in terms of football. And Snowman's in the chat. He says sports ball, and he says yes to Washington Bullets. He remembers the 1990 season, just like I do, because that was the year the 49ers, and the Giants were just totally going at it in terms of supremacy in the NFC. Phil Simms gets hurt, I believe, in week 10 because he tore his Achilles tendon in that game against the Bills. And that was the same game that Jim Kelly went down. But that's neither here nor there. I also remember that game. No, it was a different game. It was a different snow game. Never mind. But that was a preview for the Super Bowl. That game against the Bills. And I'll look it up just to be accurate.
All right.
1990 New York Giants.
A little bit of real-time research, trademark, no credential required.
Yep, 2025. But you saw Phil Simms go down, and here's his schedule. It was week 15 against the Buffalo Bills, and that was a tight game too. So it was 15 games in the season. Phil Simms, I believe he tore his Achilles on that turf, that damnable turf at Giants Stadium.
Oh yeah,
he's out for this season, and Giants fans are going, "Oh God, this is not going to be great. This ruins our Super Bowl hopes, our playoff hopes." At that point, they lost that game 17-13, so they actually went up finishing 13-3 that year. But Jeff Hostetler stepped it up, and he stepped it up in a big way, led him to the win against the Cardinals and a win against the Patriots, and basically a throwaway game. But it was the postseason where he shined. It was the postseason when he took over. They beat the Bears. They beat the brakes off the Bears, 31-3. 31-3 at home. And they scored in every single quarter. They scored 10 in the first, 7, 7, and 7. And Hostetler showed up. He threw for 2 touchdowns, ran for a 3rd touchdown. He led the Giants in that game. And it set up that epic match in the championship game. I would say arguably the greatest NFC championship game of all time. Don't at me. It happened. But the Giants couldn't do anything offensively in that game, but he still kept them in the game. And the Giants wound up winning on a walk-off field goal at Candlestick Park. And that's the game where Leonard Marshall just absolutely plowed Joe Montana into that turf, which caused the turnover, it didn't cause the turnover. It was Roger Craig's fumble that turned the fortunes around. Look, because Lawrence Taylor recovered that fumble. So they go to the Super Bowl. Initially has some struggles, but recovered, and he had a pretty decent game. But it just goes to show you that the backup quarterback is a huge position, and is just a huge position. And at that point, I was like, Jeff Hostetler, that's a quarterback I want to play for, because he did all the things he needed to do. And the one play that actually prevented that Super Bowl, the Super Bowl 25, from turning into a blowout, was the Giants were backed up inside their own 5, and there's a sack. It was only a safety, but you could see on the slow-mo that Bruce Smith was going for the ball. And you see Hostetler just tuck it in at the very last second, and he takes a safety instead of the Bills scoring a touchdown. And they're up 9-0 at that point. But Hostetler kept his calm. And Hostetler, if we don't know the story of him, he actually married his college coach's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a pretty cool story. But the next season, he leads the Giants to the Super Bowl, and you have that controversy, that battle at camp to see who is going to be the quarterback in the 1991 season, and Hostetler wins the job from Phil Simms. But Hostetler eventually goes to the Los Angeles Raiders, where he has a couple pretty decent seasons with the Raiders. go to his stats real quick. He led the Raiders to a 10-5 and 9-7 seasons, back-to-back 500 seasons in 93 and 94. And I think they went to the playoffs that year. But he was a guy who just got the job done. You know, there's no reason that he doesn't have these flowery stats. He's not in the Hall of Fame, but Giants fans and New York fans, sports fans, periods will remember him coming off the bench and leading the Giants to the Super Bowl and helping them win a Super Bowl that season. So I'm going with a very obscure reference here, but Jeff Hostetler was a dude. Like dude could play.
Yeah.
And he did. And he wound up winning a Super Bowl, which leads to William Burney, new credhead, asking who's the backup to win a Super Bowl. You've got plenty out there. You get Jeff Hostetler's one, Nick Foles.
Yep, Nick Foles is the one that immediately came to mind for sure. I don't know. I mean, I think Hostetler might be up there because this is a throwback.
Doug Williams.
Yeah, Doug Williams, of course. And I feel bad saying this because it's the ultimate example all the time. But former Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator or assistant coach, I can't remember, Tom Moore, was once asked in an interview, what's going to happen if Peyton Manning goes down, if you lose number 18? And Tom Moore said, if Sorgi goes in there, we are effed. That was the quote. That was the quote. It was something like that. Gosh. Now, I believe he might have said that when he was in Arizona as a consultant. I don't think he said that while he was still working for the Colts. But why is it that the backup quarterbacks, like a lot of teams do it? They have a star quarterback, and then they have a quarterback that's like, it's better than I'll ever be, a better athlete than most 90% of the people. But if their star goes down, that's it. Whatever happened to the era where if a background, I mean, even the quarterback situation last year with the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers went down and they had to put in Tyrod, your season's not lost because Tyrod's proven he can play. But there are so many cases. It seems like in today's NFL, the backup quarterback is not valued as high as it once was. Jeff Hostetler, clearly quality backup. And I believe he parlayed that into a deal with the Raiders later, if I'm not.
Yeah, he signed with the Raiders in 93. Nice little contract for him. And then Phil Simms finished his career with the Giants in 94.
Okay.
Well, Williams coming at us. He's saying the answer is Kurt Warner. They made a movie about Kurt Warner's story, which actually we covered on No Ticket Required last year. We had Colin Taylor, who was in that movie, who I know from the Albany Empire. He was on our show. He played Ricky Prohl in that movie. He didn't have any speaking lines, but he was on the field as Ricky Prohl. And I'll say this about Kurt Warner too. He wasn't necessarily, he was a backup, but he started and played the entire season. We're talking about quarterbacks who have come in mid-season, at some point during the season. So you've got Tom Brady 2000 in the 2001 season. You've got Earl Morrall for Bob Greasy. Trent Dilfer.
Oh yeah, Trent
coming
Dilfer
in for Tony Banks. Coming in for Tony Banks. Doug Williams for Jay Schrader. Sorry. Jeff Hostetler for Phil Simms because again, Phil Simms hurt his foot in the game against Buffalo in week 15. Jim Plunkett for Dan Pastorini, and Nick Foles for
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. Yeah. And yep. Okay. You guys. So okay, I see the difference. Thank you. We just want So we just want to put that. We just want to put that little layer in there. So this is for while the season was going on, not at the beginning of the season. So, but I love that. That's a great movie. It's a great story because Kurt Warner played arena football. Unfortunately, beat my opening Firebirds in 1996. In that thriller game.
Those Iowa Barnstormers, they did it to us.
Right, they did, unfortunately. But yeah, this brought up quite the debate, with the backup quarterbacks and whatnot. Oh, by the way, I mentioned this to you, Dustin, and I'll mention it on the show. So I cut a little clip of what I said on Tuesday's show about Richard Todd. I posted it on Twitter. I tagged his daughter, Darby Lou, and she showed it to the man himself, and he loved it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's got to be one of your highlights. And you got to get a jersey now. You got to rep it. You got to rep it.
I'm gonna have to get a Richard Todd jersey now.
Yeah,
that's it. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
And Six saying, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Jeff Hostetler.
We got to cue Obi-Wan Kenobi saying that.
Yeah,
that's a name.
And William Burney saying, how about the team that Vince was on, North Carolina? Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Ed Cota, Shaman Williams.
Yeah. That
team, that was one of the best teams to not win a national title, if I remember correctly, because Kentucky was so dominant during the late 90s.
Yeah.
Duke had the early 90s. Then he had that cut in by UCLA for a season with Ed O'Bannon, who won that lawsuit for that launched the name, image, likeness nonsense. And then Kentucky took over for the last half of the decade before Rick Pitino became that awful coach with that awful years with the Boston Celtics. Man, oh man. But yeah, that was probably the best North Carolina team and probably the best team in the 90s that did not win a national title. I remember those years. And yeah, we don't talk about NBA that often on this show because we've kind of tapered our enthusiasm with for me, it's kind of been like that since Jordan retired. And I know you still follow the Dallas Mavericks here and there, but
yes. But I'm seeing, not to the degree I used to follow the NBA a lot more, and this list is showing me that. I mean, how many of my picks have been NBA guys? I mean, Michael Finley, Vince Carter. I'm trying to think. You picked Dennis Rodman for one. You know, we used to watch the NBA. And Ryan, lest you forget about it, speaking of college coaches' turns that didn't go well, remember when Coach Calipari was the head coach of the New Jersey Nets? For a while, it was a thing. It was that college coaches just couldn't make that transition to the NBA.
He parlayed his corrupt ways at UMass into an NBA job. Now he's at I believe he's at and he went to, let's see, after the Nets.
Yeah, he was at Memphis.
He was at Memphis, and he coached and went to Kentucky.
Yeah,
now I believe he's now at the University of Arkansas. William saying, what about Rick Pitino as Celtics head coach? It was not good.
Yeah.
He drafted one of his guys, Antoine Walker, and then it just didn't work out. It didn't work out. Some things, NBA coaching and college coaching are two different animals. And now Rick Pitino's at St. John's. He's revived that program.
Yep.
I think they're number 7 or number 6 in the polls right now, and they could earn themselves a number 1 spot if they win the Big East tournament. So good on them. But yeah, I think Calipari's at they both had great college coaching careers, not so much in terms of the NBA. All right, we gotta get out of here because we got stuff to do because it's Saturday. But in the meantime, thanks for joining us again. Follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget about our Ovi Watch contest, and also check out our other podcasts and articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe on your preferred podcast platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, and Pandora. And also, don't forget to get yourself notified on Twitter and on YouTube. That way we know when show announcements go up, new videos go up. Don't forget about this contest here.
Ovi Goal Watch 2025.
Reverb just hits different, man. But yes, you want to go on social media on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Give us the game date when you think Alexander Ovechkin could break the record, break Wayne Gretzky's goal scoring career record, and we'll send you a nice prize package courtry of us.
Person who gets closest gets the prize package. And I don't even know what it is, but Ryan has said that if you hit the day exactly, you get a bonus prize. And so far, I haven't seen that many entries. And obviously, Ryan and I are recusing ourselves from this. But get in there and enter. Get in there and enter. I saw that. I think Uncle Al, he entered. He picked March 30th. I think was his pick.
No, he picked April 1st.
Oh, April 1st. Okay.
But I might have to remind him to pick the game date. Yep. No, I'm sorry. They play the Boston Bruins on April 1st. So that's his pick. It's the only pick so far. But get yourself on our social media channels. Get in there for that contest. Pick the game date you think Alexander Ovechkin will break the record. The closest gets to that date, get a nice prize package. If you hit the exact game date, get a bonus prize from one of us. It could be headshots of us with autographed. We don't know. But we're gonna get out of here. But again, in the meantime, on the podcast side, rate, review, comment, all that stuff. And of course, if you're watching on replay on Belly Up Sports YouTube channel, leave us a comment. And also leave us a comment in the comment section on your pick for Ovi Goal Watch 2025, which game you think he'll break the record. In the meantime, we'll be back on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You can also always listen on the archives on the face on the you can always listen on the archives on the broadcast side. The audio of this will be up on our page in a little while too. So we'll be taking this video down and we'll have the audio still up if you want to review it. But thank you for tuning in to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. This has been the Saturday Brunch Edition for Dustin Henry. I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back here Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll talk to you then. Until then, have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
Good morning, everybody.
There it is.